You're watching The Rundown, and we're continuing the conversation right here. We just took you live to Los Angeles to the GA, the General Assembly, the year's major gathering of American Jewish community leaders and activists. Benjamin Netanyahu is set to speak there in just about 10 minutes. And joining us now is Rabbi Dov Lipman. He's a former member of Israeli parliament in the centrist Yesh Atid party. And Dov, we've been looking a little bit at sort of the American perspective from inside the United States and those communities there. Do you think that within Israel or within Israeli government, there is an awareness of what some see as a growing divide between American Jewish communities and Israel?
There's an awareness on sort of a low level. What I mean by that is I traveled to the United States and to Canada, and the awareness of the abyss that's being created between Israel and diaspora is so glaring. It is such a problem. It's what I'm asked every place I go. It's immediately asked, and I have to defend Israel and defend Israel's democracy and try to give people hope. The Israeli government, people don't realize how bad it is and how much effort has to be made to repair it. We're trying to explain it more, but I still don't think the message has completely resonated, certainly not with the major decision makers.
Dov, Prime Minister Netanyahu speaking at the GA only through a sort of video hookup. From what we understand, no Israeli government ministers went out there to Los Angeles for the GA. I mean, what's your take on it? Were they concerned to go? The kind of reaction do they get? And was this a mistaken move that's going to only increase that gap?
That's a classic example that captures how there's a lack of awareness. I don't know who was invited, who wasn't invited, but I know that if I'm in the Israeli government today, if I'm aware of the gap that's been created, I would be pounding down doors to make sure as many ministers as possible were there and presenting and trying to hear the people, hear their issues, listen to diaspora Jews. Ministers should be hearing college students talk about what it's like to be on the front lines for Israel while feeling shut out of Israel, to hear rabbis, federation leaders, people who are lobbying governments for Israel who feel that they don't have a place in the country they're working so hard for, to hear those voices, to have that conversation. And I can't understand government ministers not making sure that they're there. But again, I think that captures this lack of awareness and this feeling that whatever these issues are, Western Wall, conversion, it'll all blow over, it'll all go away. And the message that I share with people in the government and the Knesset is that it's not only not going away, the problem is getting worse, and someone has to stand up and really address it.
Dov, you mentioned earlier what you call an abyss, that division between American Jews and Israel, and that you have to go around in the United States and find yourself defending Israel's democracy. What policies, aside from the Western Wall, aside from those things that deal with Judaism itself, what policies are irking American Jews and distancing them from Israel?
The biggest issue is the lack of acceptance of Reform and conservative Judaism. I'm Orthodox, an Orthodox rabbi. I believe passionately in my beliefs, and I'll debate them with anyone. But this idea of closing the door on people who are trying to worship and be proud Jews as they understand it is something which Israel really has to change. And my message, though, to North American Jewry is that this is very much a political issue in Israel, where we have one small group, which is a juggernaut politically. And the best thing that we can do on our side of the ocean is to chip away at that and try to take away from the strong political power of the ultra-Orthodox parties, which is holding everything in place, while at the same time working with our brothers and sisters in the diaspora to try to make progress on all these core issues.
All right, Rabbi Dov Lipman, thanks very much for weighing in on The Rundown.